Hey guys, welcome to my live stream. December 23rd, almost Christmas. So time for the Christmas tree here again. Wishing you a Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays with your loved ones or alone. I will post a video later on the channel also that I recorded yesterday, just to wish everyone a nice time away from the stress of everyday life. And yeah, I'm back here. I brought seeds. I have seedlings that we will go through. Just moving the Christmas tree a little bit aside like this. Yeah, and then I want to go through the seedlings, clean some seeds, and maybe transplant some of the seedlings into washed pumice. But yeah, until then, just going through the seedlings again. Welcome to the live stream, guys. Great to have you around. And yeah, let's get started. So these are looking okay. Most of the seedlings looking very big already, and one seedling is completely behind. I suppose it's probably because it doesn't touch the soil or doesn't get enough nutrients, whatever. So I'm taking it out of this whole mass of seedlings that had surrounded it. Maybe I can improve things for it. Yeah. Apart from that, everything looking good. Just closing it up again. Not seeing anything that's problematic in here. So I guess I want to do some seed cleaning because it's so important. We'll do the seedlings later then. I'll just put this one aside. And then I want to move on with the seed cleaning. It's just so important. Hey, good morning. Welcome to the stream. And already Merry Christmas and all. Things are almost happening. Almost Christmas now. A lot of people take a little bit time off from work, and that is what's urgently needed right now. I'm looking forward just for some time where the banks are closed, where I don't have to look into the bank account. Looking forward when there's no mail that can get to you. That kind of feeling can be very relieving when you know that nobody's going to come. So yeah, I'm cleaning cactus seeds here, still from yesterday. I had brought quite a bunch of them. Let me just see. Yesterday I was cleaning the seeds and then I moved on. I'm not sure what the seeds are that I'm cleaning right now that were still on. It could be the Gröner seeds that I cleaned yesterday. I think they are then, but I might have to look at it again. But I think that's it. Gröner Flying Saucer, and Macola. Let me see if I have them here. The others. I just cleaned the table and I need to do it again. Yes, thank you. I want to post it on YouTube too. I forgot yesterday. It was just something where I felt like maybe I record something separate for the channel, but I feel like it's good the way it is, and I can upload it. So yeah, that thing will go up later after the stream if I have time. Apart from that, today I will be doing paperwork, preparing everything for the next year already, and just doing a little bit of streaming here and there and filming. Okay. Yeah, I totally cannot tell you what the seeds are that I've cleaned yesterday. I need to look it up. it wasn't the Gröner, Orange and Marcola, because I can see that it's lying over there. I had cleaned that. So it must be the next one. Oh, I think I remember what it was. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, I found it. Aporo Candicans Shigra F2. That was a good cross this summer. I'm not sure if I got 2 or 1. I think it was only 1 fruit, but I'm not entirely sure. But it's the first time that I got seeds from this plant here that I've been cleaning. First seeds, and maybe 250. Okay. Let me see. I'm always making sure that I don't sort out the viable seeds here and there. And I often find some. Okay. Very often it's difficult to just sieve out the seeds, because usually a sieve is either so fine that literally everything will get stuck in it, from dirt to non-viable seeds, or it's too big and everything falls through. It's really difficult because so many seeds have different sizes. So you often have to go through by hand, sorting them through by hand, trying to decide which ones are viable and which ones aren't. It's good to not bring in the non-viable seeds, because they can often just bring in fungal infections, too much organic material that doesn't go anywhere, that doesn't grow, that's just not healthy. Okay. All right, these are clean. So this morning I was already out with Kami a couple times, but unfortunately it's so cold that the cat goes out, sits there for a minute and turns around and wants to go inside again. It's really getting colder. We might even get snow. And I'm not against snow. It's not, I don't like winter, but it's not, I enjoy the feeling when you are walking through, when everything's full of snow and all the sound is muffled, that kind of feeling. I like that. But apart from that, I don't like the winter. I'm just glad when it's over again. So yeah, welcome to the stream, guys. I appreciate it. Happy to take questions if you want to know something. And by the way, I saw that YouTube now offers the function that you can reply to a comment with an audio message, with a voice message, something like that. And I want to try it out within the next couple of weeks. That could be a great function when someone has a specific question about whatever problem they have, or about plant ID, and it allows you to get back to go a little bit deeper. That could be a great function. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Yeah, I'm just cleaning seeds here, cleaning cactus seeds, and overall, I'm looking forward to a few days where you can recover a little bit, where you have no mail, when it's just no chance that someone will kind of take you out of the just relaxing. I enjoy that right now, just being able to do nothing for a while. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. Okay. Yeah, just cleaning these seeds here. And the plant was really nice this year. Aporo candicans shigra. Flower was surprisingly nice. I didn't think it would be so nice. I've seen it on photos. And I've already seen a flower, one or two. But they never looked so nice like they did this year. I think the plant comes from Ingo Bartels. I'm not sure who the original source was, but it was a good plant this year. Interesting red kind of color. Okay, well, orange was something in between red and orange. Still finding viable seeds though. So over Christmas, since I was born in Germany, I would probably watch the Christmas episode of a series called Familie Heinz Becker. I was born in Saarland, Germany, and that's just a classic, a cult classic that they always show on Christmas. And I want to watch it again this year. It's just a lot of with the regional dialect kind of humor. Nothing great, but it's something that has become tradition where I came from. So I want to watch it. I enjoy traditions. That's why I enjoy Christmas. It's not that I celebrate it on a religious level, but I just like these traditions and customs that take you a little bit off the day-to-day stress and all. So yeah, okay, this is clean. Gotta move the Christmas tree away a little bit. It's just in the way all the time, no matter where you put it. Okay. So, yeah, let's do another bunch of seeds here, because I saw that these are pretty good. Vers 11, one of my favorite hybrids, and we should really sow these out. This could be a very good cross. Vers 11, and I usually pick something where I feel like it can improve the flower even. And Vers 11 already has a good flower. Okay. And the seeds are pretty big. Actually, pretty much the size of Trichocereus seeds. I just think that since this is a hybrid between two different genera, I think in regards to the seed size, the Trichocereus came through. Very good flower, lots of potential, and I'm looking forward to seeing some of my crosses that I've made in the last years. Did a lot of them. I would be cleaning them, and afterwards we will go through a bunch of the containers and maybe transplant a few seedlings here and there. I dropped a few, and there were some that had fungus gnats in them. Okay, here's a viable seed. And I'm always cleaning the seeds here on a piece of paper, just to get to the plant debris, to the crushed stuff in the middle, that often poses a problem when you are sowing out clean seeds is pretty important. Not allowing anything to come up in a container. It's so difficult to heal anything to heal whatever is hitting the seedlings, and it is much easier to just prevent it. The better you clean the seeds, the less likely you have a fungal infection among the seedlings, and the better you treat them, the less likely you will have a problem that requires serious treatment, being it in form of pesticides or whatever. It's just so much easier to do the stuff right and not allow the classic problems to come up. They have a habit of coming up in a similar way. Okay. Yeah, these are pretty clean now. There's still a little bit here and there that's in between the seeds, but I'm happy with it. I will pack these up, and then we will probably sow them out sometime soon. Do you have a go-to seedling per area density? Not really, but over the years, the more experience you have, you tend to really see how much work this is going to be. The more seeds you have, the more seedlings you have. So I try to not overdo it, to be around 30 seedlings. The more experience you have keeping them alive, the easier you can just decide how many you want. If you lose a lot further along the way, you're probably less likely to sort out early on, just because you know that not all of them will make it. But the better you get, the more experience you have with raising the seedlings, the fewer seedlings you want to have. I mean, there are crosses where you grow 100 seedlings or 200 seedlings, but in many cases you don't need that many. 5 to 10 is already a lot if you let them grow big, because you need so much space once you start potting up. Once you have to continuously bring them into higher pots and all, just 5 seedlings can already be way too much. So it really depends on how much space you have and all. Personally, 25 to 50 seeds per container should be the maximum. But when you look into the containers here, it just happens every now and then that you underestimate how many seeds you actually put in there, and then you're stuck with it. It just happens. I've seen seedlings here just in the containers where I had 100 seedlings and plus. So it still happens at any point. Sometimes you're kind of optimistic when you're sowing out, and then when you see the work coming up in front of your eyes, then you start sorting it out a little bit more. It's just something that nobody really enjoys, because we would love to grow them all, but it's never, you just can't do it. Like I said, if you just take 5 seedlings and after the second or third year they need a separate pot each, and then you are with just 5 seedlings within 5 years, you are covering a good square meter, maybe even more potentially, depending on how big the plants, how wide they get. A lot of the species don't really grow tall, but start growing wide. Needs a lot of space. Okay, Vers 11, really good hybrid, multi-hybrid. Lobivia also involved, but my plant of Vers 11, it's like this big. It's a huge thing. I can't even describe the size that it has. Maybe a little dog. Actually a medium size. It's that big. So the Lobivia body kind of comes through, but it has these columnar tendencies, especially when grafted. I really like that thing. And I donated seeds a few times, but so far I haven't really seen anything yet. I hope that that will happen soon. Okay, so let me go through here. Yeah, let me just cry. I don't know, this looks like fungus gnats. 1 or 2 seedlings just don't look like they are perfectly stable. And when I opened this thing up, a fungus gnat just flew out. So yeah. But the seedlings are so small that we probably should not transplant them yet. I can't really see any seedling that is gone. So I think I would just close it up again and get back to that later when they are a little bit bigger, when we can transplant them. I brought the washed pumice here with me. Washed pumice, great medium, great thing for growing cactus. But it's a little bit more expensive. In this case, it's a washed pumice, and that just means that all the dust that often comes with it when you buy it in a bag, all the dust is already washed out. The thing with pumice is, if the dust is in, it's like glue. It sticks like glue. It keeps the roots and the soil compacted like a brick, like a really firm piece of stone even sometimes. So it can make sense to wash it or to buy it. In this case, they are selling this stuff as I don't know, specially clean, you know, like a high-end product. That's at least how they are advertising this kind of a pumice. And it's more expensive, unfortunately. You can clean it yourself with just a sieve and water. But it creates a lot of dust in the area where you walk, where you just have to be when you're dealing with cacti. So I often like to buy it already cleaned. It just saves you a lot of dirty work where you stand in the dust all the time. Okay. These are looking fantastic. This is probably one of the best containers that I've opened so far. They look great. You can really see the spines and all. You can probably even see it in the stream. These look good. And the soil is rather dry. So in the last days, there has been a little trend that you could really notice that the containers that had a little bit drier kind of soil, those had almost no problems with fungus gnats. So if you know how to perfectly get the humidity right to keep the soil dry, and which doesn't allow the fungus gnats to propagate in the soil, if you know how to find the perfect humidity, then it can make sense to keep them drier. But it's a fine line. Cactus seedlings also need humidity, so you really need to know how to have it, like how to recognize when they are starting to dehydrate. In this case, it's a tiny bit more humid, more moist the soil, but apart from that, also a little bit on the drier side, and they look good. Also interesting seedlings from a Uwe Kahle cross. Okay. Next one. Okay, and these here, they look really interesting. I'm not sure if you can notice it in the video, in the stream, but the tips have a reddish glow to them, and just the tips, not really anything else. The rest of the body is green, but they have a tiny glow in center. if I would be using a red light lamp, that would make sense, but not with the kind of lamp that I'm currently using. And when you have stressed seedlings, they often turn red in totality, like the whole seedling turns reddish. But I've rarely seen it where it's so locally separated from the rest of the seedlings. That's interesting. We'll see how that develops later. Maybe we're getting an interesting cultivar. Who knows? Okay, this one here, fungus gnats. 2 of them. They are enemies of the state in this container. But apart from that, the seedlings look great. Seedlings are not the problem. It's just they also propagated in the soil. But from looking at everything, the soil was so dry that it seems to have been too dry for the fungus gnat. They often need a certain humidity in the top layer of the soil, and when that doesn't happen, they cannot propagate. So seedlings look really somewhat healthy. Let me see if here's something that I want to take a close look at. Yeah, here's a seedling that was gone, but it's not visible anymore. It's just the skin. And that happens when you lose a seedling and you don't even notice it. It's just suddenly gone. It goes pretty fast. So that can be a casualty of the fungus gnat. But yeah, apart from that, the seedlings look good. We will transplant them, but not today. I'm currently transplanting the ones where I really see problems that require me to do something right away. Okay. Okay, looking good. I can see spines. I can see a little bit of discoloration in the upper parts of the seedling, but the whole health, not like the other ones where you just have a tiny part. In this case, a large part of the seedling has discoloration, but they are looking healthy and green. Good seedlings. So I'm closing it up again. The soil is a little bit wet, like not like the others. But maybe the fungus gnats just didn't get into it. Okay. Looking okay. Also, if I'd have to guess, maybe 70, 80 seedlings. So it's already too many. Apart from that, potted too deep. Takes away the light. But right now they are under a decent lamp, and they get enough light the way they are. So, and the moment they are big enough that this could become a problem, then we will have to transplant them already. Might happen very soon. Hey, welcome to the stream. Great to have you around. I'm just going through the seedlings again. Maybe do a little bit of seed cleaning here and there. Yeah, and later today I will post my Christmas video that I recorded. So yeah, everything a little bit in celebrationary vibe here. Okay, so these are looking good. Seedlings are okay. A bunch are a little bit more delayed than the others. Sometimes you have the strongest seeds coming up first, and then you have a later wave 2 or 3 weeks afterwards, and that can happen. And then you have different kind of ages in one container. That actually happens quite a lot. And it can happen another time when you bring them out into the in summer into the greenhouse or into the garden. The moment the temperatures go really up, you can get a bunch of very delayed seedlings that come up from the heat. These are rather small, but you can already see the first set of spines. Looking okay. Maybe a little bit too wet, but it's okay. I haven't seen fungus gnats, so this is okay. Can just close it up again. Yeah, they look, I mean, it's just, they're so fragile. You wouldn't believe how spiny and hard to handle they become later on. So in this case here, that I opened, this is a perfect example why washed pumice can be a problem with the stability. I handled this thing a little bit too harshly, and the moment you press against both sides, you change everything. The whole soil in the whole container changes the structure. So that's why it can make sense to mix in something else with the pumice to just prevent that, to create a little bit more compact ground that the seedlings can stand on. So now I have to transplant them and reposition them again manually. And I already did that. So, and it's not good for the seedling either. Here's a little springtail that is walking around. Springtails aren't really a big problem. I just leave them be usually. I'm happy for every insect where I don't have to do anything. Okay. Yeah. It really depends on how much movement you have with that soil, with that medium. Once you handle it, that's why I'm not a fan of pumice. It's great because of the roundish structure. It's so fast draining, but then it's constantly rolling around. The pots are constantly falling over, just because they like pumice is not really heavy. Pumice is a really light medium, so you're constantly walking around in pumice. But the drainage, the good drainage that it has, it just makes it worth it. And like I said, there are some very complicated soil mixes with pumice that just mix it with other stuff that adds a little bit more stability. The way I understood it, a lot of the soil mixes that I've seen from commercial sources, they had broken expanded clay that has a pretty firm structure, a little bit more weight, and that had added a little bit of stability here and there. Okay. So let's transplant a bunch of seedlings. I have I've brought some that are where the fungus gnats were so bad that I decided that I want to transplant them. So we will try it out now. Oh yeah, opening it up and it's a mess. Should have done that already quite a while ago. So I would take out the seedlings now, and we might lose them all the way this looks. Waited too long. This is really breeding ground for fungus gnats. I think the seedlings are already gone, these. I would try to save the ones that we're transplanting now. But this was a really bad case. Okay, need a new bag also. So, and then I need to put in some water because the washed pumice is super dry. Gotta get some water. Can't do it like this. The seedlings wouldn't make it. It would be too much dehydration. Just need a little bit of water. Okay. So maybe we can save some of the seedlings here, but probably not. These really don't look good. Yeah, I bought 1 ton of pumice, and that was maybe 7-8 years ago. And it was just a few $100. It wasn't expensive. And yeah, it wasn't the right, it didn't have the right kind of particle size, so I kind of made a bad choice there. But generally, it's really not so expensive. You just have to find a good source where you can buy it in bulk. I just had someone who even offered me to like free pumice because they have it on a job site where they work and don't really need it. But I didn't want to even, you never know. Sometimes whatever they use might not be the right pH level, or it might have some sort of toxins that are in the soil that you just don't see. And then you lose everything that where you used it on. I've had some different media where that I potted up, and afterwards it became clear that the stuff was just too fast draining. When I tested lava back then, and the structure was so sharp that the roots just didn't look healthy. They weren't able to just grow into the medium, and everything I had used that lava on, the seedlings looked terrible. Literally everything, and not only seedlings but also larger plants, was really a revelation kind of thing to me, because I never wanted to use lava again in that amount. Just as a little add-on here and there, yes, but not in larger amounts. Okay, with these, I'm not sure what to do here. I had separated this, had put it aside, because I probably saw a fungus gnat in it at some point. But for now, I'm not seeing it. Seedlings look okay, but there are also 1 or 2 that will probably not make it long term. Just seedlings that don't have a lot of life force in them. I think we will keep it for now. This is not pressing. There are others, the ones that I've just opened up, that was the pressing kind of thing. Okay. This one's already empty. I had separated this one. Probably when I put it aside, there was still a seedling in it. So, okay, let me see what's going on in this one. Thank you. That's actually the cap that I'm wearing, that's actually, I think, a line for women. I don't know why they do that. I don't know why all the clothes manufacturers think that only women like color. You know, like there's so few clothes for men that have flowers on them, and I just like flowers. You know, so every now and then I find something good that's actually for women. And they made other stuff that's also colorful. That I think they are called the Farm. That's their kind of name. But again, a lot of it was just for women. I wish I could wear some of the stuff that they do, because they made some very nice tracksuits with flowers everywhere. But somehow that is something that you don't find in men's sizes. Okay, in this one here, the soil is too dry. The soil is already so dry, so dehydrated, that it's hard to get the soil wet now and have everything in the right structure for the seedlings. The seedlings look terrible. So yeah. I think about transplanting them, but I also believe that the soil doesn't look too bad. It's just, it has dried up too much. And this is a problem that you sometimes have with soil that has peat in it. Once it gets dry, it just changes the structure. It does no longer allow the seedlings, the roots of the seedlings to grow in. It becomes so puffy and hard to handle that even the seedlings don't grow nice in it. The soil lifts, it kind of carries them away in pieces. So yeah. Think I put in 2 of these little cans here, and the soil is still dry. It just can't take the water in anymore. Let me see, what's this? Question came in. I don't know why it filtered it out. But I don't sleep with my cap. Sorry, I'm not sure why it's not showing it, but I don't sleep with my cap. I just shave my head right now. I got gray hair very early on, so I started keeping it short. When I was getting married, I was having it short, completely short. Yeah, I tried growing it again, growing the hair, but since I had so much gray in it, I just feel more comfortable with the cap. It does miracles for me. I just look better with the cap. But I'm often not afraid to. There are a lot of photos of me around without the cap. But it's something that has become my thing. You get so used to it. For me, it's just part of my day now. It's part of my my work clothes. So yeah. Yeah, peat is difficult to work with. Once it dries out, you really have to be religious about keeping it at the right humidity, and if that doesn't happen, then it becomes hard to work with. That's why I often take so great care that when I'm sowing out, when I'm opening a bag of sowing soil, it never fully dries out. Never really. I try to keep it closed at all time, because once the humidity is out, it's not so easy to get it back in again. And you see, the soil in the container at the top, it's still not completely wet, but I already have all this swamp at the bottom of the bag. I will leave it like that, and then next time we're getting rid of the excessive water. I think the soil is okay the way it is now, but that kind of swamp at the bottom needs to go. Can't leave it like that. Okay. Let me see. Ugh. Oh, this is a fungus gnat infestation of the highest order. So these all have to go into the new soil, and we will leave back everything that looks sick. I opened up and I could see 3, 4, 5 seedlings that just disappeared. I hate it. I can't tell you how much I dislike that when I open up something and I see total carnage in a container that the fungus gnats or whatever has caused. So I would try to remove most of the soil because I don't want to bring them into the new container. They would probably not make it, but they can still cause damage here and there. Short term, they can still screw up a bunch of seedlings, and it's better when they don't do that. So I read that yesterday. I read that Chris Rea passed away. Just wanted to say that Driving Home for Christmas is one of my favorite Christmas songs. That's one of the songs where you feel like it exists for 100 years or so, 100, 200 years. Feels like one of those classic Christmas songs from the 50s or whatever. So yeah, I really like that song. Sad he passed away. So many of the generation that I grew up with are disappearing. Okay. I can't tell which one of those seedlings still have a healthy root system because they are in between, you know. Some of them might have already been damaged. We'll see how they will do in the washed pumice now. The problem is that the seedlings are actually a little bit too small. I would love to transplant them a little bit later. There's a question about fungus gnats and neem when it's in like little granules. So that could work for seedlings. It might very well work. It depends on whatever, how harsh that solution is, how much the concentration will be. Normally, if it's just the active ingredient, the seedlings will probably take it. That's my just gut feeling. I haven't used that kind of a pesticide yet, but I believe it could definitely work. In my case, I'm treating the plants, the seedlings and everything with neem oil, and neem oil is a little bit too strong for the tiny seedlings that I have here. We will be using neem oil, and we will also use it on little seedlings like these because I want to show it. I want to test it. We will try it out. There's so much information about neem on the net, and we will just try it out. We will nuke the fresh seedlings maybe a couple months, and they will get a full dose of that neem stuff, and then we'll see how they will do. But yeah, from my experiences that I made in the last year, the neem will definitely take care of spider mites. I've already tested that just recently, where I was very happy with the result. I have this dislike of oil, of any kind of oil, but I also have a dislike of any kind of pest. So you kind of always have to pick the lesser evil when you're growing cacti. At some point you will have to use a pesticide, and the really effective ones have been taken off the market lately. Stuff like imidacloprid, that was sold as Confidor. That's the kind of stuff that was used in the past, and you don't get that anymore. And I also don't want to use it, because it's such a devastating. It does devastating damage to a lot of positive insects, a lot of good insects that we need. So yeah, it's not an easy situation, and at some point you will have to use something. Well, neem, I think it will probably not do a lot against fungi, fungal infections and that kind of stuff. Since if you use it as an oil, it can even bring out fungal infections in a plant, because it can cause these chemical burns if used as an oil. If not as an oil, I don't think it would have any effect against fungal infections. But who knows? Maybe if it would change the pH level, something like that. I haven't really tested it in that situation. I don't even use a fungicide against fungal infections in most of the cases. I have some. I know how to use them, but in most cases it is just easier to prevent fungal infections before they happen. Once they happen, it's very hard to save something. And when you save stuff, you usually save it by catching it early, removing it early, avoiding anything that will cause too many long-term problems. Yeah, keep taking out seedlings out of this pot here, and a lot of them, I'm not convinced that they have a good root system. But at this point, I would have to leave so many of them out because they all look a little bit bad, and I want to give them a chance. So a lot of them will get in, and then I will take out whatever doesn't make it later. I can already tell you that the fungus gnats will have a really bad time once the seedlings are suddenly gone. Okay, I think this is it. Couldn't really find a label, actually. I'm not sure if I forgot to put one in. Didn't find a label, but I found more seedlings. Yeah, there's no... Oh, there it is. Fell down. Okay. Sisala crossed with Gräserserfolg and Selbstbestäubung. That is a good cross. That is really something that deserves to be grown. It could get something like interesting, colorful flower, but also with ruffles. But I caused a total mess here. Everything's dirty now. Again, I cleaned everything up yesterday. Was so nice. Okay. So, and when it's about neem, by the way, I came across a post this week, something by the Phytomimetics page, and it was that so many of the neem oil extracts that you get, the neem extracts that are, that a lot of that just doesn't have any active ingredient of neem in it anymore. So make sure if you buy something that it is cold pressed. I think that plays a role in how much of the active ingredient actually survives the process and gets into the product. So cold pressed, and also what was it? Cloudy. Yeah, if the thing looks cloudy, the chances are higher that you actually have an active ingredient of neem in it, in an oil. But again, I'm not an expert. That's what I read. I always try to stay away from neem. I tried using neem oil 1 year in summer, or it was spring, summer, something like that. I don't know exactly the date, but it was a little bit sunny, but not too much. And then I applied that in the shade, did everything according to plan, and the plants just looked terrible afterwards. I lost maybe 10%. A lot of infections that came out later on in winter that I didn't get under control in winter, because the chemical burns that you get from oil on cacti, that is just a constant lingering infection. It doesn't really cause that big infection that you can remove and then it's good. It constantly has these open wounds that never heal. Maybe like a burn, everything scars up, but it doesn't really scar up nicely, but it scars up in an infected way. So that gave me a really bad experience with neem, and I didn't use it again until much later. And I only used it again because at some point you run out of options. The mealybug had become a problem. I had gotten mealybug from a plant that I bought on eBay, and they get under control so easily. So at some point you just have to make a decision what you do. Do you want to risk that maybe 1 or 2 plants here and there have a bad experience with the neem, or do you want to have mealybug on all the plants? That is just one of the general questions that you got to ask yourself sometimes. And I was so sick of the mealybug that I would rather, I just decided, okay, no matter what, if I lose the plant, I lose the plant. Because if you have mealybug on them, you will lose the plant also. Mealybug is such a, they don't really cause that big, huge problem right away, but they cause it continuously over a year or 2. The plants constantly get these tiny infections, local infections that you can then remove. But if you would have taken out the mealybug right away, then you wouldn't even get to that point. So yeah, there will be a lot of mealybug treatment this year. I'm sick of them, and everything that I've sprayed, it looked better afterwards. You can really get them under control, but you can never 100% if you use neem. There's always that 1 or 2 plants here and there that don't take it, that will just, that you will lose because a bad reaction, because it's just not all species have the same kind of skin structure. Some are more resistant to certain treatments and some are not. So yeah, but I already have the neem mixed up and ready to go, because I want to spray a bunch of plants in the next couple of weeks. I don't even want to wait until summer. I want to make use of the that the sun isn't so strong right now. So I would spray a bunch of plants here and there. Okay. Yeah, there's so many seedlings in this container here. Yeah, I'm sure there are some plants that have natural kind of pesticides in them, and some are very, very toxic. I mean, some people use what is it, nicotine, but I really believe that some of those more toxic plants and all that, it also becomes dangerous when you apply it, because you handle it. You often handle the soil, and then you forgot that at some point you have treated them with nicotine, for example. So you forget about it. You're often exposed to it. So it's sometimes better to not use certain plants that are often recommended. Even when you look online, a lot of people recommend nicotine, but there are better pesticides around, that are safer to use. That's not so dangerous when you work with it. And sometimes you can also breathe it in. Important to avoid that. I always try to grow somewhat organically, but it's just very difficult. And neem and oil, I know a lot of breeders that use white oil being, I think, a mix between oil and some sort of soap. And that also has the same kind of risk. Okay. Yeah, I think at some point I just have to close this bag up. For now, I try to get the seedlings into the soil as best as possible. But some are just not. They are too small to really dig their roots into this pumice. So I just hope that we can get it done. Just watering the soil a little bit here now. I don't want to have as much water in it as in the other one. Just a little bit. Since the bag will be closed up now, they don't need that much water. Okay, but this is much better than what we had originally with the fungus gnats in the soil. Actually looks good. The way they look now, maybe we can get a bunch of them to adulthood. Maybe they will make it. Okay. I had singled these out because the soil had too much moss in it on the lower left there. But the seedlings don't seem to care. Okay, have a nice night. Thank you for joining. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll be back tomorrow, also doing streaming, but not sure at which time. Maybe I'm changing things up a little bit on Christmas, or maybe I'm doing one in the morning and one in the evening. Okay. I will close them up again. I'm not seeing that urgent need to transplant. Not seeing it here. It will always depend on my experience when I'm opening it up. And when I see fungus gnats flying out like it's Top Gun, then we're doing it. Okay, and this is a classic example. They look normal, but everything's messed up. There are a bunch of seedlings that are already gone. One is lying there. And I would transplant these also. Okay. So I'm just taking them out of the soil, trying to remove everything from the roots. These just have to go into a new container. Here's a seedling where the fungus gnat already started chewing it at the root system, and those are beyond saving. Okay, yeah. But the good part is we came at the right time. This is the right time to transplant them. If I had waited longer, we would have lost even more. When I opened this thing up, I knew it. This we can't leave it like that. Always trying to carefully pick the seedling up without ripping out the roots, and that is not easy. These roots are so tiny, and from time to time it happens to me that I have that the root is still in the soil. And also can have to do with the fact that fungus gnats already ate the seedlings, the roots. Hey, happy holidays. Great to have you around, Robert. So I'm just transplanting seedlings because the fungus gnats had damaged the root system on a lot of them. This one, probably a waste of time to put it in, but I want to give it a chance. We will lose a bunch of them anyway, so I will leave it up to them if they make it or not. And this is from a cross between Angelo and 18A2000. That's a good cross. I like that. I want to have seedlings from that. So it's good that I'm transplanting them. But there's so many of them that look like the root is already gone. I hate that. So much potential lost. Maybe we can save them, despite the fact that they don't have a root. Very often you can't, but maybe we're lucky. We're trying it out. Yeah, and the rest here. A lot of pretty messed up seedlings. I think I'm leaving those in the pot. I don't need to transplant them all. This one has a root. This one also. Okay. And the soil needs to be discarded, can't reuse it. It just has too much fungus gnats in them. Oh, I'm very happy about that, Robert. Congratulations. Congratulations. I hope you have a great year. New job. There's nothing. A new job and a new home, like when you move to another state, there's nothing that can fix. That's an old saying, I think. Okay, so I'm transplanting more of the seedlings here. Just a little bit more water, because that pumice is so dry. Okay. Yeah, there will be a lot of seedlings in this one that don't make it. But I want to try it out. I want to give them a chance. We will see. And just earlier this morning, an old friend of mine from school also wrote about fungus gnats. They are a huge problem, even for people who aren't really growing cacti. They are just a pest. Oh, I hate that. This is just such a time-consuming work. You have to be really focused when you're doing that. I'm just trying to get them into the soil a little bit, into the pumice. But they look pretty roughed up. Okay. This is the type of stuff that you also need to keep in mind when you decide how many seeds you want to sow out. If you have 100 seedlings in a container and you need to transplant, this will be your life. I love sowing out seedlings. I hate transplanting them. Okay. You know, there are so many seedlings that don't even have a root anymore, and that makes it more difficult to get them into the soil, to position them in a way where they really have a chance. Because that's what you do. You just don't. You not only do you stick them into the pumice, you also need to make sure that they can grow there. It's not a thing that will automatically be all right just because you put it into something. They need a little bit of structure, a little bit of stability. And this is such a loose medium. Okay. Yeah, I'm almost done here. There's still a bunch of seedlings here and there where I haven't gotten to them yet, or that have been moved again since I did it for the first time. There's just still a lot of movement in this thing here. You change one thing, you push against one seedling and another one falls over again. Okay. Okay, I think I'm done. And even if not, I would just look away now if I would see something. Pretend I haven't seen it. It's done. Okay, transplanted into washed pumice. Looking okay. Will definitely be better. The way it is now compared to how it was in the organic soil where the fungus gnats ate away the roots. I don't think they will be able to do it here. So we'll see. Now this one here, I think I saw that I dropped it. So in this case, I just need to reposition them, I guess. The good thing is when you drop seedlings, when you drop a container, the bag that you have around it keeps everything a little bit together. So I'm just compacting the soil a little bit again. 1 or 2 seedlings that need to be brought back up. Okay. That aside, the seedlings look great. They can go under the lamp again. Can't see any kind of fungus gnat in here. I took something out. There was a seedling that didn't make it. And that one I took out. Here's another one, a small one, but that one at least has a chance. The one that I took out didn't have any. Was just too small. Okay. These were the ones that really stood out with the fungus gnats. And I'm glad that I could get all those repotted now. Here's another one that I put aside. And I can see a fungus gnat right now. I'm not sure what to do because the seedlings look okay-ish. But I also see 1 or 2 seedlings where you can just see that the fungus gnat larvae has started to eat. Maybe we should transplant these too. Might be better to do it now. But it's also 1 million seedlings. Oh, we'll do these next time. It's the kind of job that becomes emotionally challenging. Okay. We'll do a little bit more of seed cleaning, and then I'll go offline again. Checking after Kami. Kami didn't really look good tonight. She was up tonight where I felt like she wasn't doing so good. She's okay most of the time, but every now and then she just has these phases when she's not doing so good. I'm not sure what it is. I suspect she just doesn't drink enough during certain parts of the months. Yeah, so I want to keep an eye on her. Okay, let me see what this is. This was a Schaffery hybrid. Schaffery, I think it was Schaffery as father, had Schaffery as father in it, but it was so dominant that mostly Schaffery came through. And that was a good example of Schaffery and how dominant it is. It was just one of the 3 or 4 plants that were involved in the cross. But I could only see Schaffery in that one. Not really a good thing. I don't want that. I don't like that when they do that. When you have a plant that is so excessively dominant that it always comes through. Okay. The can is leaking again. This is the worst can that ever existed. But it's the official can of the channel. Okay. Yeah, I harvested a bunch of seeds from them. I pollinated that Schaffery hybrid again with the hope that maybe I can overcome the genetics of Schaffery by using something with a better flower. I love the flower of Schaffery yellow, which was the one that was used here, but I really needed to at least accept some of the traits from the other parent too. There has to be some sort of hybridization going on. If not, then it's not usable. Then you cannot really use it for much than just getting seeds from a plant where you never got them before. Okay. And another one. Moving forward with the seeds here. Telegona. What is it? This is Teleflora. I had a bunch of fruit on Teleflora this year. As many as I never had before. And this is one of them. And we need to be sowing them out very soon because the viability isn't so long-lived. I don't see these being alive for very long. The viability, just the shelf life of the seeds. So I need to sow them out soon. They are just very small. Seeds are very small. You can really see that there's not a lot of room for long viability. Okay. Okay, so this week I noticed something on Facebook. Hey Kami, I noticed something on Facebook. They did another update, and now when you type, there's this weird button right in front of the keyboard. I think it's an AI button that you can press when you want it, when you want the text to be reformatted, whatever. But it's in the middle of everything, and it blocks the text and all. I'm not sure what's going on, that they are putting out these kinds of updates that completely break their app. But nothing surprises me anymore. So I just see Kami just came in. And she's licking plastic, and that is not a good sign. So I think I gotta stop the stream to see if I can do something. Maybe get her to eat something. She hasn't really eaten well since yesterday. So yeah, gotta go. But thank you for being here. I appreciate it, and I will be back. We'll be back tomorrow with another stream. And maybe later, we'll see. I will definitely stream over Christmas a little bit differently. So yeah, thank you that you've been here. I hope you'll be back. and I'll be back definitely later today or tomorrow. Okay? Thank you, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not sure what it's just every now and then she just gets a phase where um where she doesn't want to eat for a few days. I think she just doesn't. Maybe she doesn't drink enough. Maybe it's when she's cleaning herself and has too much hair. That kind of problems that they get. She's just very old, so I'm doing my best. Okay, thank you.